So this is going to be a real kind of spring feel makeup tutorial, using nice bright kind of pastel colours, and I know I've kind of used them in the last couple of colourful tutorials, but the last couple of ones have been maybe not so day friendly, not so you know, wearable across the board for everyone. So this is going to be a little bit more pared down, but still using like nice bright colours that really suit this time of the year. And I'm going to be using my Real Technique brushes because I'm doing a review on them straight away after this, so this will kind of just be the review in action kind of thing. So I'm going to start off and apply a primer. So I already used a 50 SPF sunblock, which is from La Roche-Posay, and it's their melting cream. So this one is really nice. I think it works really well as a foundation base. And I'm going to use my Bourjois Flower Perfection Translucent Smoothing Primer. I really love this. It's just really soft. It's like a mousse, but it totally just disappears into the skin. I kind of just usually put it around the centre of my face. I don't really feel like or find that I need any kind of primer around the outskirts of my face. So I just use my hand and kind of smooth that around. So basically anywhere where you're a little bit maybe on the oily side or a little bit more porous, that's really the only place you need it. Then I'm going to stick with Bourjois for a few bits for this tutorial, and this is my Bourjois Healthy Mix Serum. You know I use the Healthy Mix normal foundation quite a lot, but I haven't used the serum enough, I think, since I got it. I really like it, but I've kind of been neglecting it in favour of some other foundations. So I'm just going to use my Real Techniques, this is the stippling brush, or the buffing brush. I'm just going to use that to buff in the foundation, so I don't want particularly heavy coverage. So this is a really day friendly foundation. I really like it. So I kind of tend to start by buffing the foundation in and then just stipple over any areas where I want slightly better coverage. Now I'm sure I've probably mentioned it before, but I never apply foundation above this ring, like up underneath the eye area. Not every foundation is going to be really bad for this area, but most foundations will contain ingredients to make them last longer or to absorb oil or like anti-aging, and those ingredients don't always suit this area because the skin is totally different underneath your eye than it is on the rest of your face. It's up to 4 times thinner, it's much more absorbent. You can see a lot of people walk around with those little white dots underneath their eye area, and that's because it absorbs products that are generally too rich that shouldn't be used in that area, and it gets trapped underneath the skin, so just something to be wary of. And then for my concealer, I'm pretty much sticking with my MAC Mineralized concealer a lot lately. It's just a really nice one. Dot that just along the area, and I'm going to use, this is the Real Techniques pointed foundation brush. Now it's a really small brush. I think it's like in between a concealer and a foundation brush. I do tend to like slightly smaller foundation brushes. I like to work with smaller brushes rather than big ones, but this one is very small. So I wouldn't use it for like if I'm looking for full-on coverage, but it's nice if on those days where you don't need as much coverage, where you just want to apply a little bit in the areas where you need them. Or I really like it for buffing in concealer as well. And of course, it being synthetic hairs, it's not going to absorb the product, so it's really good for use with your liquid products. So for this look, I'm going to use a little bit of my Urban Decay Primer Potion. This is the one that's tinted. I never remember the name of it, so pardon that. And I just apply a little bit over the lids, and you can use your finger or you can even use that same brush again just to blend it in. And you really don't want it to be too heavy on the lids, because too much primer is counterproductive and it'll just make your eyeshadow crease even more. And then for eyeshadows, I'm going to use a palette I literally haven't used, I'd say, in about a year, and it's my Makeup Forever palette, one that I made up myself. I absolutely love some of these colours. Like for instance, this number 9 blusher has always been one of my favourite lilac-y colours, and I don't know why I haven't used it in so long. There's the famous number 92. I absolutely love this number 89 eyeshadow. They're just beautiful eyeshadows, so they're going to be perfect for this look as well. Before I start, I'm just going to apply a little bit of my Healthy Balance face powder. So I'm just going to use this brush, and it's from the Starter collection or the Starter set. This is the base eyeshadow brush, so it's just a beautiful, it kind of looks like a blending brush, but it's a little bit you know, it's a little bit fluffy. And I'm just going to pick up some of my face powder and use this in place of a highlight. So I tend to like using face powders in your own colour or a tiny bit lighter on the brow area when I don't want it to be shiny or reflective. And that way when I want to go blend around the edge, there's that powder on it already, which gives her a nice even blend. So for my first eye colour, I'm going to use that number 9 eyeshadow, which is that beautiful like lilac purple, and pick it up on the same brush and tap it off so that there's not loads of fallout. Because these eyeshadows, the Makeup Forever eyeshadows, are extremely pigmented, but they can also be a little bit crumbly, so you just want to make sure you don't have too much falling down. But that's why I didn't powder my foundation first, because I can clean up any mess easily before setting the base. So I'm just patting that on all over the lid, and then because this brush is like quite fluffy, it's good for laying down colour as well as blending out, so you can use that to lightly blend around the edge. I will be adding another colour in a sec, so I'm just going to do the same to the other eye. So next I'm going to use this, which is like, it's like a smudge brush. It's called the Accent brush, and it's from that same starter set. I'm going to pick up the same colour and I use this to apply it underneath the lower lash line. This is a perfect size for getting colour right up into the hair base, which some bigger brushes don't really allow for, or else some bigger brushes just make you kind of apply too much colour, especially when you don't want to bring it down too far underneath the eye. And then I'm going back into the first brush that I used, and I'm just going to lightly run that just along the bottom of where I applied that colour. Now the next brush I'm going to use from the same kit is this, which is the Deluxe Crease brush, which is a beautiful, quite densely packed dome shaped brush, perfect for getting in to that crease, especially when you have a lot of eye space like myself. I'm going to go into this number 89 eyeshadow, which is beautiful pastel pink, and I'm just going to use that to blend out the more lilac colour and bring it up a little bit closer to my eyebrows. And because I had already applied that face powder, it just blends beautifully over that area. By a little bit as well, because it's domed, you can use the tip without using too much of these sides, and run that just along the bottom as well. So next, before I head on with any more eyeshadow, I'm just going to apply a little bit of a white eyeliner in there into the waterline to brighten it up a little bit. I love this pencil by Bourjois. It's called their Shadow and Contour, Kohl and Contour Shadow and Light. So it has a black end and a white end. Can't really remember the price. It wasn't that expensive because Bourjois in Ireland isn't that expensive, but it works really well as far as like pharmacy brand pencils go. I'm very impressed with it. So just lightly run it along the waterline, and I don't want to apply too much, just enough to brighten up and take away the pink look. Now I just want to add a tiny bit of a highlight just onto the inner corner of my eyes, and I'm going to use this gorgeous diamond eyeshadow in number 310. I'm just going to use my first brush, which is the base shadow brush. Just wipe off a little bit of that purple. Apply it there to the inner corner. I love doing this because it helps hide that blue vein that a lot of us have on that area without having to use loads of concealer or corrector. And now I'm going to go into my number 92 eyeshadow with this crease brush, and I'm going to apply it just onto the very, very, very tip of the crease brush, so I have a little bit more control over where it's applied, and start running it back and forth in my crease line. So I don't want to bring the colour up too high or anything like that. It's more just to add a little bit more depth and definition. This will be particularly useful, or a bit more punchy for people who maybe don't have crease lines or creases as far back as my own. Now using the detail brush again, I'm going to go back into the number 92 and apply a little bit using the very tip of the brush just along the outer third or so of my under eye area. That's pretty much all the eyeshadow I want to apply now, and I'm going to use a Lash Out mascara by LetzMakeup. This is one of their newest ones, and it's a really nice mascara. And I'm going to apply that to top and bottom lashes. I find when I use these kind of bright eye looks, when it's just a really nice like pastel look blown out, I don't like to confuse the look by using liner all the time, which can take away from the eyeshadow sometimes. So it's nice to just focus then on the lashes to keep it a little bit more simple. Okay, and just to finish off the eye area then, I'm going to apply a little bit of a brow powder. This one is by Vivo and it's the Ultimate Brow and Eye Kit. It comes with 3 great eyebrow colours, one more for blonde, then you've got your warm and your cool darker colour. I'm going to go for the middle warm one, and I'm going to use the eyebrow brush by Real Techniques, also in the starter set. Just going to use that to thicken out that central area of my eyebrow. Lightly brush it through the rest of the hairs just to bring it all to the same colour, but I don't want to darken it loads. And then I'm just going to brush through that to help disperse the colour a little bit, so it's not so stamped on. So I do really like this brush for applying colour to the brows. My only negative kind of opinion of it is that it's ever so slightly too fat, in that it's very hard to get a really nice thin tapered tail. Even using it on the side, it's still a bit tricky, but other than that, anyone who's not concerned with having such a tapered tail, it's perfect. And I'm just going to apply a little bit of the brow gel that comes with that brow set to keep the hairs in place. Okay, now that I have the eyes done with a really beautiful bright purple, I'm just going to go back in with my stippling brush and apply a little bit more foundation anywhere where I feel I want a little bit more coverage. And I'm going to set that base using this blush brush, which comes on its own by Real Techniques, and the Bourjois Healthy Mix, this is called the Unifying Powder. Yeah. So I'm just going to lightly press over the areas where I get particularly shiny. So I'm more concerned with the centre of my face, and then anywhere where I'm going to put blusher as well, so that it blends much smoother over those areas. I'm using one of my favourite brushes from all the Real Techniques sets, or brushes in general, is this contour brush, and this is from the Core collection. And first I'm going to apply a little bit of that diamondy pink eyeshadow that we used on the inner corner of my eye, which is number 310. I'm going to pick up a little bit and use it as a highlight. So this brush is perfect for using as a highlight and contour. It's just a perfect size, but I've also been using it loads as a blusher brush. I think it's just the perfect size for the amount of blush I like to apply. So I'm going to put that highlight there up in a C shape. Just gives a really lovely lift to the skin. Apply a little bit just in the centre, and then use my fingers. I'm going to apply some just there to the Cupid's bow as well. And then I'm going to go back into my number 89 eyeshadow, which was this guy here that I used to blend out my purpley one. And I'm going to use the same brush because I really like this for blusher. And just start lightly applying it over the apple of my cheek. And then drag it up there towards the top of my ear. I don't want to make this too much of a blush heavy look because the eyes have enough colour on them. And then I'm just going to flip it around to the clean side of the brush and use that to blend out the edge. Okay, so I think for most people that would probably be enough on the face, but I've been dying to use this lipstick, and it's from MAC, and it was quite cute, from the Quite Cute collection that was out there the end of last year, I think. So this is this beautiful lavender, like really gorgeous colour, perfect for the springtime. So I'm going to apply this first from the bullet, just all over my lips. And then I'm going to use this detailer brush from the Core collection also. This one it's like perfect for, I suppose, spot concealing and stuff like that, but it's also really good for lipstick application. So I'm going to use just to, I'm just going to use this to perfect the outline of the lipstick. So that's it for this look. Of course, the lips may be something people would want to leave out, understandably. But any brush anyhow I didn't use from the collections in this tutorial, I will mention in the review that I am just about to film now. So you'll see that shortly after this one. So thanks a million for watching, guys. I'll chat to you all really soon. Slán!